If you tolerate this, then your children will be next, will be next, will be next. Oh. Well, boys and girls, Saturday morning, last Saturday of the month. So I'm going to do two things today. First of all, I'm definitely having a coffee and I need another one because this one's nearly empty. Winky's not doing her job. We've been on holiday and she's definitely slacking. No good. But have I been slacking? Well, we're going to update the small account and I'm going to touch on losing trades. Roll the intro. And a warm welcome to one and all. So what are we going to do today? Well, if you follow the channel, it's mainly me, cup of coffee on the screen and normally kicking off because I was old and I like a kick off. And it's amazing how the general public can get you that way.
Who'd be stupid enough to do that?
Justify, stupid.
Do you have to kick off at the charts? No, you don't. You should always be pretty darn calm and accept everything that's going on. Now, I work on a principle of start with 0, end with 1. Now, what does that mean? See, to the uninformed and one thing another, you think you've got to go into trades and you've got to ride them out. And you're either going to lose, you're going to win. What about sacrificing trades? I hear people talk about scaling into a trade. But what about scaling out of a loss? That'll blow your brains out. Scale out of a loss? No, you add to a winner, you add to a winner. No, not quite. I do things backwards. Now, I used to love to play golf. And what I figured out very quickly in golf is if you do the absolute reverse of what everybody else does, you survive. So, case in point, if you're on a par 4 hole, aim to do it in 5 shots. But you're supposed to do it in 3. You know, 1 under par. You're supposed to do it in 2. Get a hole in 1. No, if you aim for 5, immediately your handicap is going to come down because you're nice and easy. And so it's like a little clonk into the fairway. Then the next one halfway down the fairway again. Get to the green. 2 putts in the hole. 5. Your handicap will become 18. Now 18 is pretty good. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. But what you'll often find is because you've calmed down and you're not trying to leather the ball into oblivion, you actually hit the pars a lot more than before. I used to play with a guy. I mean, I'm a big guy, you know, I'm like 20 odd stone. I'm actually 21 stone at the moment, right, fat bastard. I'll get back on the health kick, but I've been on holiday and sod it, I was having a good time. And I'm going away again in a couple of weeks' time, well, 3 weeks' time. So I'm going to have a good time then, so sod it. And then I'll go away again. So, well, I'm just a fat bastard, right? Like, let's just be honest. You're not going to bend way on my ship. And if you did, it would be a proper sculpture.
Make it stop.
But I keep Winky warm at night, and that's all that matters, because she might be a cow, but I'm her big bear. Yeah. Right. And you might be wondering why I'm playing with this. Well, there is reason. It's actually my stress ball, all right? But it's also a metaphor for what you do when things go shit, because that's exactly what this is. It's shit, right? Well, the one thing you don't be is a knobhead, you know? We'll leave that to Popeye and the guys that I've kicked out of the group, because they genuinely are knobheads, and they'll never make it in this world. Why? Because they follow the narrative of everything must be rigid, X marks the spot. What you got to remember in trading is when you come to chart, that doesn't follow the rules. Human beings are operating this thing. As much as you think there's the great Terminator in the sky working the AI and Skynet's in control, there is to a degree, but somebody has to tell it what to do in the first place. So it's still a human decision. And us humans are very unpredictable. I know that because I married one. Well, I think it's debatable as to whether she's human at times. You know, personally, I think she's a walking ATM machine in reverse.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
Anyway, cut long story short, yeah, we're going out looking for a new car for her today. Fortunately, she just wants a run around, so that's all right. Little Volkswagen Polo or something like that will do. Because that's the other thing. Budgeting is a big thing. I don't buy brand new cars. I don't drive a Lamborghini. I drive a normal second-hand car. I live in a normal house. You know, I don't live in a mansion, anything like that, because I do this as a job. And when you do a job, you do tasks. And some of those tasks aren't very good, but you need to know how to get out of them. And that's what this is all about, being shit. So, golf. You'll often find if you're new to this channel, I do lose track and go off somewhere else and then come back. But there is a common theme. I'm an idiot.
Are you sure?
No. I've done this job a long time. I love my job. I genuinely love my job. And as much as people think I'm a people person, to a degree I am. I am very approachable. I do get recognised a lot. And if somebody comes up to me in McDonald's, which they do on a regular basis, I'll sit and have a coffee with them, and I'll always talk to them, and I'll always spend time with them. We've just done trade like Scruffy Day Live and had 30 odd or something in a classroom, and I took time to speak to every single one of them, all of them, even people I didn't even know. We were just been discussing you.
Me? What's that doing?
No, walking ATM machine, but you brought the coffee because I like it. Have you've got no clothes on underneath that, have you?
Yes.
Come here, let's wag your tail. Well, better still, will you come and wag my tail?
Hey, get on.
Yeah, no, you can have your little one back.
Mine.
You liar.
No.
How does your missus put up with you? Must be my legendary prowess as a lover.
That's Winky, love of my life. There is a true saying. Happy wife, happy life. And I do my best to keep her happy. Contrary to belief, believe it or not, I do get my marriage pulled into question quite a lot. You know, because of the way we speak to each other and the way I speak to other people. Do I care? No, not really. Do they know me? Not in their lifetime. I've got the happiest marriage going, I genuinely have. You know, every day is a laugh in our house. We have our arguments, we have our differences. But I love that girl to bits. And for anybody to call that into question, that's the worst insult you'll ever give me. Trust me. Anyway, get on to a different track. Where was that? Golf. Yeah, we were playing golf, weren't we? Well, we weren't. I wasn't yet. And then I got on to work. Oh, I nearly said something about balls there, but better not. Right? There's a good ball. This is my death charger. Right. Okay, what time is it? Excellent. I've rattled on enough. All the dickheads and the freeloaders will have pissed off by now. Let's get into this. So, in golf, I used to play with a little guy. He was half my size. Literally half my size. Nowhere near as strong as I am. And I used to get up to the tee, get my driver out, and boom, bash this thing like there was no tomorrow into oblivion. What would happen? Ball be in the rough. Take me 2 or 3 shots to get it out the rough, back to fairway, then hack me way down onto the green, and then get it in the hole. And I played with this guy for quite a while. And all he ever did was he just used to get like a 4 or 5 iron out of his bag. Maybe he's a 3 wood from time to time. And he'd knock it in the middle of the fairway. Then he'd neck down onto by the green, drop it on the green, and inevitably he used to put it in the hole. And I was talking to him this day, and what turned my round, I ended up having an 11 handicap. And it was purely down to what this chap had told me. Just do everything backwards. If you think you're going to hit it hard, hit it soft. You know, if you think you're going to hit it soft, hit it hard. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Right? And sure enough, calm my swing down, off, straight as a die into the middle of the fairway. And then it was him that said, just aim for 1 over par every time. And when you're putting, aim for a dustbin lid. And you'll either be in the hole or very close to it for a tap in. And when he was talking about hitting it hard when you should be hitting it soft, what he was referring to was when sort of greens were wet and you think, oh, I just need to tap it in. He says, no, when it's like that, you give it that little bit extra so it can get through the water to the hole. And he taught me a lot. And I mean, I've played since I was a kid, and I learned more in 3 years playing with that chap than I did in a lifetime. Trading's the same. You know, I scale backwards into a trade because inevitably, think of it this way. In your last 100 trades, how many of them have you hit on the head, not looked back 3 pips and gone straight to target? And I'm not talking scalping targets, because no, scalping's a waste of time. You know, nobody makes money from scalping. You can put as much as you like in the comments. I asked a broker about this. And I said, how many scalpers have made it in 10 years? And I'm talking about people that just go in high frequency, 2 to 3 pips at a time. And over a 10-year period, the answer is 0. Day traders make it. So if you're looking at 10, sort of 20 pips per trade, 2 or 3 times a day. Swing traders make it, position traders make it. But scalpers, and I'll be honest, I've never met one that has. You know, I've met a few that talk the big game, but I've never met a scalper that's made it over a long period of time. And I've done this 20 years into it this year. So anyway, but if you have, more kudos to you, because I can't do it. Because what you got to remember is eventually something's going to wipe you out. And that's why I'm going to show you something today. Now, I'll scale into the trade, as I said, because inevitably every trade I take goes against me. Pretty much. Very rarely get it on the nose. Wouldn't it be nice to take advantage of that? And as you go backwards, what you're doing is you actually increasing the target criteria while reducing your limitation on the market. In other words, your exposure. So you've got to have a clear stop. You've got to have a clear target. When I say a stop, there's nothing wrong with a wide stop, but there's a difference between a wide stop and a haymaker. And I think this is where people get confused. You know, if you work on half an ATR, 3/4 of an ATR, sort of 50, 60 pips on, say, cable, you know, it's about right. It gives the trade plenty of room to breathe, but because you're scaling into it, the exposure is far less. Why can't you switch those trades off if they're in a loss? Because one can pay the other off. That's the idea of it. And that's why it's called madness, because people call it madness because they think it's mad. They think your trade should be going for you, and then you start adding into it as it moves in your position. Yes, I agree with that if you're swing trading. But if you're day trading, what inevitably will happen is you'll put a position in on the rotation, because the markets rotate throughout the day. They'll push up, they pull back, they push up, they pull back. And some days it goes on a truck day and it doesn't come back. And they're the days you've got to kill it. And that's what I've done this week. So, a little bit of blurb about that. I'm going to pull up BlackBull. It's out flat this week. It's done quite well. You saw me open up the statement beginning of the month because I'm on trying to work the leverage down on it. And we're in for a decent payout again this week. So we're going to show you how to draw that out. And I'm going to show you what 200 quid has made. There you go. So give me a second while I log in.
Well, we're waiting.
Okay. So why am I talking like this today? Well, actually, if I come down into the Trader Clinic and I go to request, it's for a little smiler, little salute to you. And I know there's a few of the guys that are interested in this as well. And I took a loss and I told them and I showed them, because I do take a loss. I take a lot more losses than you think. But to hold a 90% hit rate isn't as difficult as you think if you plan it. But bearing in mind, I don't trade that much either. I trade once or twice a day with multiple positions, but it's a single trade idea. It's not 100% the market all the time. Something you lot do, and it's what newbies do all the time. I'm going to scalp and I'm going to go a gazillion because I've got loads of leverage. Oh, fuck, I've got no account left. No shit, Sherlock. But I need to make the money. I need it. Well, I'm going to show you how to do it. Right? So I'm doing this for Smiler. So let's pull up the BlackBull. So this is the account. These are the products I'm predominantly trading. This is kind of my window of the world. We've got the NASDAQ up here, pound JPY. These two wildcards, I look at these 6 for correlation, and if I see something, I'll trade it. And then through a weekend, I'll look at this, which is something which I never thought I'd actually say I'd be doing, but it's Bitcoin. And I do quite well with Bitcoin. And I don't mind Bitcoin because there's a lot of data in it. I can find my levels. I can read and interpret what's going on through the price action because it's now got that much in it. It becomes almost predictable. So, how much is the account worth? The account is 2,762. It's not bad. I started this with 500 quid at the beginning of the month. So that's a colossal move, but it gets better. I've had money out of this. And I had money out of the first 500 to 1 account that we set up. If you go through this Vanguard series, you'll see that we set it up. We got it to a level. We took a lot of money out of it. And then we reduced, closed the account down, reduced the leverage and opened up a new one with a lower leverage. And we're going to do the same to this. We'll be shutting this down and moving the leverage down probably the end of the month, as long as I don't screw this up. Because I'm looking for what's called a baseline. Now a baseline, if you bear with me, and I shall pull that up for you, is this. So this will give you an idea of how good we're doing as well. So we started at the beginning of the year with £200. My total gross of what I've had out of this account, because I was questioned, is it possible to do 10,000 in a year? Well, I've done 5,249 on this single account. And with the 22nd of February. Now, bear in mind, I started late on this as well because I was on holiday the first 2 weeks of January. So it was just very sporadic. January, set up the year, work towards a 300 and lower the leverage. We smashed that out of the water. And what that meant was I just wanted to increase the balance because I start every month with a singular balance, build up. And this is where start with 0, end with 1 comes from. If I look to start the month with 300 or whatever, as long as I end it with 301, I've made more than I started with. I'm happy. Doesn't matter what happens in the middle. That's why I don't care about killing trades. Now, I also work on that almost on a weekly basis and a monthly basis. You can do it on a daily basis, but you've got to weather a storm. I look Monday through Friday is the way I do it. And when people see how I work out how much I'm investing in the markets, etc., it's done through a weekly put my teeth back in, weekly ring fence system. Okay. So we started February with 500. So it was more than the 300 that I want. And what I'm setting out to do is build it up. So I've got a 750 baseline. So when I've taken all my profits out, I want to be left with 750 to go into March. And then I'll consider dropping the leverage down again. Okay. Leverage is a nightmare. The lower the leverage, the better. But then you need a big account. If you haven't got a big account, you need leverage in order to open up an asset, so forth and so forth. But never use leverage to increase your position size. If you do, you're an idiot. And it's one of the issues that the prop industry has. Because they look at the big account that they have. Oh, I've got a £300,000 account. No, you haven't. You have about 4 or 5 grand. Because the drawdown is the account. Because you lose that drawdown, you lose that account. The rest of it's just buying power and bragging rights. That's it. Right? What's important is what you physically have. And what's even more important, it's not what you keep in the broker. It's where you put in a slush fund. And I'll touch on my slush fund a bit later. So, there's January. Okay? Held a 95% hit rate over 296 positions. Right? Okay. February. Proper going for it. But bear in mind, I had a lot of time off in January. I'm 382 positions, 95% hit rate. My payout is going to be 1,157 for today. So I'll still have in the account more than the 750 baseline I'm after. And I've been paid quite well. But I've already had 500 out of it this month. But these are the bits that I want to talk about. These losses and one thing and another. And I'll kind of explain these. And it's all well and good looking at my sheet. And I love these sheets. They operate everything to tell me how big my position size is. They keep track of where I'm going. They help with my targets. You name it, these things do it. Comes over onto this. I can see what I'm doing for the year. And this particular one, I'm also building up my slush fund. And this is here. And this is done through multiple areas. So I save the change every time you buy a coffee. Just rounds it off to the nearest quid. And then at the end of the day, at the nearest fiver. So it picks money up there. That sharp adds up. Okay. I've paid money into pot 1, which is kind of the black bull, and as you can see, pot 1's building up quite nicely. We're going to put money into here. And then I've got pot 2, which is a couple of props that that we have. So I've got a web trader. I'm not really doing a lot with this at the moment because I don't really need to, but then I've got a couple of little props that you saw me build up last year, and they're paying me as well. So they're dropping money in. Okay. And it's all from a singular 200 quid. So 200 quid built up, harvest the money to buy a prop, harvest the money to do a web trader, harvest the money into this, and then suddenly you start getting money. Now, I set myself a goal of having the Vanguard pot that I'll show you in a minute, 4,500. Well, at the minute, it's up to 2,200. I think it's flying. You know, here it is here. Absolutely stonking away. Anyway, here it is. So if we go to history, and let's see. So just so you can see it. So there was the 500 quid going in at the beginning of the month. Here's all the trades. Trade, trade, trade. Don't get them right. Sacrifice them. Trade, 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 trade. Sacrifice a little bit there. Trade, trade, trade. Sacrifice a little bit there. Trade, 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 trade. Bit of a bad day. Now, this is one of the things that Smiley was talking about. Bad days. All the way down. Bang, bang, bang. Look at the amount of blues. There's loads of them. Bang, 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 bang. Bang, 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 bang. Here's where it gets horrible. All right. I purposely killed that off. All right. And then I purposely killed this lot off. And there we are. There's the balance. There's the swaps, because I do hold them overnight. I do have a system called the River that I run as well. And that's sort of multiple day. But there it is there. And then there's the profit. So deposit it in, withdraw the 500 quid. That's what's left. Right. Okay. So there's a statement. Live account. Now in a minute, I'm going to show you a slush fund. Again, can't be manipulated. Now, when it comes to losses, you need your hard stop. To me, the stop has one job. I don't care what anybody says. I look at things a lot different to what most people do. You always go, well, you put like 10 pips on, like, and you go for 20, and you got 2 to 1, and you only win 4 times, and you're gonna be a gazillionaire. Fuck. No, you put a stop into a trade in that scenario. What you're actually doing is inviting the market to take money off you. You genuinely are. But not only are you inviting the market to take money off you, you're going to now force a trade. Because if you put 20 pips stop, you therefore need a 40 pip target, in theory. What if the market's not willing to give you 40 pips? But you're trying to hold it onto that because I was told, like, and I bought this car for £5,000, and that's what they said, and it's not really working very well. I think I'll go and see my friend the water boy. Well, go see your friend the water boy, because you should be frigging put in a bucket and drowned. The stop has a job. Think about what it says. Stop just means it stops what's going on. That stop is only there to protect the account, period. No other function at all. That's how much it's going to cost. And if I'm wrong, do I agree to pay it? And you answer that in a binary question. Yes or no. And if you say, no, I don't want to pay that because a stop has to be where a stop has to be. You cannot go in with fixed stops. You try that on the DAX, it'll tear you a new one every time. You want to be looking for key structure points to hide the stop behind. And if it breaks through that structure point, whether it's a level, a Bollinger Band, moving average, a swing of a market, doesn't matter what it is. But if it breaks through, you're wrong. And you get out. That's it. That's all the stop does. All right. But I'm not saying that you go, well, I'll just put a 500 pip stop in. Well, you might as well not put a stop in at all. I often go to market without a stop. Why? Because I'm disciplined enough to know where to get out. But I always have a box of pain. I know where that box of pain in because it is measured out. And the reason I don't put the stop in is I'm just a bit lazy. But if I walk away from the screen, I always put the stop in place. So when you look at my losses that you see there, the stops never took them out. I did. And that's the difference between discipline and having no discipline. It's because I knew it was wrong. Now, yesterday I killed off all the Bitcoins. Why? Because one, if I left it, I would have been right. And I was right. But I was in what's called net positive. So the profits were outweighing the losses. So I just killed them off because it's Friday. One of my rules of trading is I don't trade Friday afternoon. I was also traveling home. Didn't want to get caught in any of that. So I killed it off. So I had a little bit of work on the morning. I was quite happy. He was following on from the night before because I'm a bit of a night owl. And the good thing with Bitcoin is you can trade it at 3 o'clock in the morning. So that's that. And as long as I start with 0 and end with 1, I'm not bothered what happens in the middle. And that's what the red marks are with Bitcoin. Pound JPY was slightly different. It had gone on one of the very rare truck days. It just constantly went up in a single line. And it came from nowhere. And that was a case of it was shit day. But when it got roughly to the top, it was stretched, it was bouncing off levels, etc. I thought to myself, do you know what? This has a good chance to retrace. So I put some trades in. And I watched them. Then it was on a overnight Kylie. Oh, that's sort of like a retracement within fibs. Burst through a zone area. And then just didn't go anywhere. And it sat there. Went up a bit, down a bit, up a bit, down a bit. And hardly moved at all. And then I just thought to myself, do you know something? For the greater good of the account, if this starts rising up, I can start scaling more into it. Because I don't mind doing that either. You know, as the market feels pain, you know, there will be people that are caught on the wrong side. I want to get involved with that because that's where the movements are. But it got to the point and I was sitting looking at it and I thought, you know, I've done okay. I've got quite a bit of profit for this month. If I kill it, it's not the end of the world. But if I hold on to it, it could be. So it was the lesser of two evils. And also, as you just heard, I was going to be traveling home. The Bitcoin, it didn't really bother me because that runs right the way through. It's all the time. When you're looking at pairs, they are quite session specific. So I just took the decision, I'll kill it. It didn't go to my point of pain. Still had plenty of room to go there. It got close, but it didn't. And I just thought, I'll kill it. So that's what I did. Killed it for the greater good. And now, as you see, that account is flat. Nothing in it. I can take the money out and start again on Monday and build up and enjoy my £1,000. So what am I going to do with this? Well, it's very, very simple. Okay, so we'll flick this back. So keep an eye on that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause it now and I'm going to go into the back end of BlackBull. Okay, so I've logged into the back end of BlackBull. We've got a couple of wallets here. If you go to your trading accounts, we'll see there it is there. So what we're going to do is we're going to transfer some funds. Okay, so I'm going to transfer some funds. So the source is from here. And we're going to put it into my pound wallet. And the amount we're going to transfer is, we'll do 11.55. So all I need to do is just on the last point there, go 11.55. Okay, so that's my wage. We'll drop that balance down to this. but it means I've still got a good balance to work with next week, and I've been paid quite well. In fact, I've been paid as good as a wage. So I'm quite happy with that. So it's 11.55 what we're going to be changing over. I'll explain that in a minute. It's 11.55. Proceed. Okay. So if I have a look on here, you'll see that balance has dropped. And why? Because we've taken 11.55 out of it. Okay. So we'll now go back to BlackBull and go to the wallets. That is there. Now we're going to withdraw funds. Okay. Various ways you can do it. In your crypto, to your sort of debit card that's attached to your bank, to the bank itself, doesn't really matter. But the quickest one is to your Visa debit. So I'm just going to go there and we're going to withdraw it out of here. Now what we're going to do is we are going to withdraw the 11.55, which is here. But as you can see, there's a £5 balance, and I'll be transferring 11.50 over into the slush fund. So drop that onto here. It's now going to ask me to put my bank details in where I want to go. So I'll pause the camera and do that. Right. So that's been done. We'll get an email. You just accept the email and then it drops into here. Okay. So what I'll do is I'm now going to log into Vanguard. So bear with me. Okay, guys. So this is my portfolio. This is where my trading funds go. So if you want an idea of how much my trading account is, well, there it is. It's currently sitting at 106,000. It was up over 108 at one point, but that's come down. If we look at the month on month, should be able to see it's doing quite well. See it's dropped down. And market forces. The thing with long-term funds like this, never worry about the red marks. It does catch itself back up. Last month was phenomenal. So that's not really an issue. Okay. So it still builds up. But what we are tracking is this. Okay. So we have that one set up, which is doing quite well. Then we have cash. And this here, all cap. So this is where that spreadsheet is operating from. So when I pull it onto here, when you see these figures, cash and the emerging markets fund. So we'll just update that. So at the moment, the cash is 103.11. And the other fund is 2209.88. Okay, just so that we can get that up to date as to what it's like at this moment in time. So that's what it looks like. So we've had a 5% growth from the initial starting point, and it's potting along quite well. Quite happy with that. Okay, so we're now going to drop some money into this, which is 11.50, because we had to pay a £5 to get the money out. So what you do is you just go top up, continue, and we're going to pay 11.50 into it. Next. Am I happy? Yep, happy. It's going to ask for a debit card, so it's a Visa debit. So I'm going to put my bank details in now. Bear with me just a second. Okay, so they're in. Press submit. It has a chance to ask me for a code on my phone. So sort that out. Just have a coffee while it's with. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So it's going to ask for a code. So I'm just going to pause it so you can't see it. Okay, guys. So that's been done. That money should drop into cash. There we go. So I'll just adjust this. 7. Happy days, happy days. So, scores on the doors is here. Should also have had my confirmation request. So we'll approve that. Just kind of so you can see it. That is there, it comes in, you just approve it. And away you go. And that's it. Oh, well, it's gone into there. Yeah. Being requested. So happy days. So just drop that back up onto this. Look at the overall portfolio, and the balance has gone up quite a bit. Oh, put the wrong number in. Better put that in right then, betting I. Oh, Scruff dropped the bollock. So it's 12.53.11. Okay, so that's the balance, that's the cash. All of that cash ends up going into here eventually, but as you can see, the investment's gone up, and the pot itself, well, we're 77% into target. That is due to expire. Well, I said I'd do it by September. The way this is going, we might do it next month, but I'm not going to tempt fate. I'm still going to start really small and build it up, because I always have my expectations small, and anything above it is brilliant. All right, so we're doing quite well. At the end of the month, I'll be starting to take some money, a little bit money out of prop and what have you as well, so I'll drop them in, and it's all started from very small beginnings. So there we go. Doesn't get any better than that. What else have we done? I mean, when we had the money here, well, we took it out. You saw me pay for the holiday I've just had from it. I'm on holiday in a couple of weeks' time, so next week I might actually have a payout. I might just use the profit for spending money. I don't know, because I'm way ahead of the game. Gives me the opportunity to do what I choose. And that's what I mean by start with 0, end with 1. Doesn't matter what you do in the middle, as long as you're happy with the outcome. Now, when it goes wrong, and life is a bit shit, just accept it. Don't try and ride it out. Don't try and be a hero, but justify why you're doing it. And my justification was I wanted to sleep at night, and I couldn't see the trade doing anything. And there's also a final part to this puzzle. It's actually called opportunity cost. If I've got money tied up in margin in a trade that's going nowhere, well, I'm better off killing it and then starting again, because instead of losing 100 quid, that opportunity that I've just missed might be worth 200 quid. So you gain by losing. So there we go. Something for you to think about, guys. And as always, trade well, keep your risk managed, but above all, do what you love, and the money will follow. See you all in the next one.